Well, we got two more movies left in this review series, and then we're on to the next one. So let's go ahead and knock these last two out, shall we? New Nightmare was released in 1994, directed by Wes Craven, starring Robert Englund and Heather Langenkamp. And this is widely regarded by a majority of the fan base as one of the best, if not the best, film in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, and I can see why. So let's go ahead and jump into this, starting off with the good. And yeah, there's a lot to really love in this movie. First of all, Robert Englund is back as Freddy. He's not in this nearly as much as he is in other films. And in fact, I believe this is the movie with the least amount of screen time for Freddy. And also, this is a different version of Freddy Krueger, because this is not set within the timeline of the other 6 films. This is a movie where a demon is disguising itself as Freddy Krueger and haunting the cast and crew of a new Nightmare film, which is where the term New Nightmare comes from. But Robert Englund does do a really good job when he is on screen as Freddy. It's not just one of those things where he only shows up. No, he's a looming presence the entire movie, but we don't actually physically see him until near the end of the movie. And then you have Heather Langenkamp back as herself, not Nancy, but she does a really good job. I thought that this is probably her best performance in the entire franchise as, well, herself, but she does play Nancy for a little bit during the third act when she has to go into the fictional world to defeat Freddy. And everybody else does really good in this movie as well. I really like the kid who played Heather Langenkamp's son. I don't remember his name, but he did really good. And then you have the story to this movie. I've already told you, but it's a demon haunting the cast and crew of a new Nightmare on Elm Street film, disguising itself as Freddy Krueger. And I thought that was a really good meta way to approach the franchise. After Freddy's Dead was supposed to be the definitive ending, I feel like this was the correct way to go. It's a meta take on the franchise, but it's not going into parody levels of meta. It's still taking the franchise seriously, unlike Wes Craven's Scream, which was a full-on parody of the slasher genre as a whole. But I still love Scream, don't get me wrong. But yeah, I've seen some people recently say that the story to this movie hasn't aged well, and how they prefer the just main franchise instead of the meta take, but I disagree. Unlike Halloween H2O, which people say ages better every time they watch it, that ages worse for me, where this one gets better every time I watch it, where some people are saying it gets worse for them. I really like this movie. And then, as with a Nightmare on Elm Street film, you have the really good soundtrack and score. Really love that, obviously, as always. And then you have a couple really good kills. Like I said, Freddy's more of a looming presence. You don't get a whole bunch of Freddy, but there's a few kills sprinkled in throughout the film, and it was still really good in my opinion. Now, on from the good onto the bad, there's one big thing I have with this movie. I'm not a huge fan of the design of Freddy in this movie. I don't know why, it just doesn't work for me. Also, it was a little bit slow moving in some parts. Some parts just got a little too slow, but that's about all for the bad. On to the final thoughts. New Nightmare is great. I love New Nightmare. It's top 3 of the franchise for me. Wes Craven's New Nightmare is a lot of fun. It's one of the better films in this franchise, and I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. So that was my thoughts on New Nightmare. Have you seen this movie? Let me know down in the comments what you thought about it. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.